In this video, we're going to be budget shaving with RazoRock Acqua and the Gold Dollar 300. Stay tuned. Hey there, folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host, CDB. Thanks so much for joining me today. And if it's your first time here, thank you. I hope you'll consider subscribing below. Okay, so as mentioned, today, budget shaving with RazoRock Acqua. This was $3.99 on sale for 5 ounces or 79 cents an ounce. That's an absolute chart-busting, incredible price. Even when it's not on sale, it's like $6.99 or $7.99. This is the Super Tallow formula. I'll put the ingredients right there. This contains shea butter, argan oil, aloe, lanolin, and so on. And not all the RazoRock soaps are the same formula. Some of them are the Super Tallow, some of them are vegan. I prefer the Super Tallow because I get a little bit more creamy lather. The vegan for me is a little more of a fluffy lather, although all of it works. Again, $3.99 for 5 ounces, on sale. And I also got the splash for $6.99, so you just can't beat that. The razor today is the Gold Dollar 300. This was honed by the Stallion and sent to me some months ago, so thank you very much, Stallion. Probably the last shave on this Stallion edge. I'm going to hone some razors or try to get to honing some razors this week and put my own edges on them, but we will celebrate the Stallion's edge. And so let's get started. We've talked enough. All right. So let's get the misting here. A little over 24 hours growth. I'm shaving a little bit later than usual today. We're going to use the RazoRock Lime pre-shave, which we're kind of trying to kill because we've had this for a long time. We've used it a lot. But these pre-shaves last for a long, long time. Okay. And there is that. We'll set that aside. We'll do some misting again. And then we'll get to lathering. The brush is the RazoRock Big Bruce, which I think usually goes somewhere around between 12 and 15 bucks. But you can catch it on sale sometimes. I've seen it as low as 10, I believe. And it has a Plisson type knot on it, which is very nice. Plisoft, I think it was called. And I've had this brush for years. Again, I love doing these budget shaves because I don't know, just something feels good about it. And I'm also very much a variety shaver, so I'll use pretty much anything. And I think that just adds some enjoyment to my shaves. I don't like to stick with just one brand or one type of anything. I like to try what's out there. And again, my feeling is variety makes you a better shaver because then you add tools to your toolkit and you can use anything. I mean, that's my feeling. Not everyone agrees. I get that. It's entirely okay, but I like to use a little bit of everything and not a steady diet of any one particular thing, like high cost stuff. When I first started years ago, oh, let me get a towel real quick, stay tuned. All right, and we're back. What I was saying was when I first started years ago, when I started out, once I got into the hobby, I bought everything that was expensive. And I just assumed that everything expensive was always better. And I bought all stainless, every premium item you could imagine from soaps to razors I bought. And then after some time I settled down, I realized that, it really didn't make that much a difference in the shave. I mean, almost no difference, honestly, in most cases. So this razor right here is a $3 or $4 razor, depending on where you get it. Now, if you have it honed by someone, it's going to be more expensive for their time, obviously. But it is not an expensive razor. If you buy it, all the expense is if you have somebody modify it and hone it. And even then, very inexpensive, but it will get the job done if honed properly. And of course, this one is. And they're very enjoyable to use. I like the 6/8 size too. They just feel good to me. The weight does, the size of the blade, just overall, I think they work well for me. One of the things that I notice when I come from shavettes, which the Stallion hates, he does not like shavettes at all. But when you come from a couple of shavette shaves and then you come back to a straight, the feeling is so much different. And you really you feel like you sort of got to dig in a little bit. Whereas with those shavettes, you don't really get that sensation. And I like both. You know, for me, there's room for both in my kit. You know, like I said, I don't want to just use one thing. I want to be able to shave with anything. And I think that variety is both enjoyable. And my personal feeling is just having that flexibility to be able to pick up anything and use it, you know, will just overall make you a better shaver mechanically, whether it be, and I'm talking about single edge razors, double edge razors, injectors, straight razors, shavettes. You'll get to know your face and what type of blades, you know, you like, and basically how to get along with most things. And I, for one, appreciate that. Again, I know that the stallion, because he was commenting on my shavette video with the feather, he just doesn't like them, and he doesn't think they feel comfortable. For me, they are comfortable. And so I just like the experience that they provide. But I love these straight razors too. Otherwise, I wouldn't have started with them, and I wouldn't have taken a honing and the enjoyment that provides, which, you know, if you're a guy like Stallion that hones all your own razors, you're just going to get great enjoyment from those edges that you put on them yourself. It really does give you a tremendous sense of enjoyment and accomplishment putting your own edges on your blade. And so I understand that. But I still like to use DEs, SEs. I'm not a huge injector fan, but pretty much everything else I still enjoy using, and I will continue to use them. So right now I'm pretty much in a sort of a series of shaves where I'll use a DE, or excuse me, I'll use a straight razor, I'll use a shavette, I'll use a DE. Like, I use them each a couple times a week. And I like that. It sort of keeps me familiar with all. But I will say, if you are just starting in your straight razor journey, I would stick to straight razors exclusively as much as possible. So if you're a 7-day-a-week shaver, I would try to do at least 5 straight razor shaves per week until you get the basic mechanics down. Which a lot of people say 30 days or so you'll get the basic mechanics down. It may be more like 60 for some people, but after that, you know, I think you're free to do whatever. And if you start out with shavettes, I think the advantage there is just, they're so easy to, let me put it, they're not easy. What I mean to say, it's so easy to make a mistake with a shavette. So the reason I really like them is it teaches you to be super careful. Whereas straights, for whatever reason, they give you a little bit of quarter. But don't get me wrong. If you don't respect them, they will cut you. But the shavettes, with that blade being so thin and sharp, they just don't provide any sort of quarter. So if you make a mistake, if you go a little too hard, if you come in too steep on that angle, you are cut. But that said, you can cut yourself with any of these razors. So don't become complacent. And I sometimes do that. I have a habit of doing it. You just get sloppy, not being mindful of your technique. And when you do that, you pay the price. So the main difference, I would say, from a shavette and the straights is, you can hear all that feedback there, but you almost have to, I hate to use the term applying pressure, because I don't want anybody going hard and applying pressure, but it's a different feeling with the straight. And you do sometimes have to sort of muscle the blade through a little bit, but I don't want to give you the idea that you need to be using a lot of pressure, because you don't. But sometimes in order to get through the growth, it does require a little bit of muscling. And I have found, since I've been using shavettes lately, that they go through the growth a little bit easier, I guess because of that sharpness. And so I think each are very enjoyable to use. And each gives you a sense of fulfillment when you execute a good shave with them. I will agree that there's nothing like putting your own edge on your own razor and, you know, getting what they're calling the edgegasm. I agree, that's wonderful, which is why I'm gonna be honing this one. I'm putting my own edge on it. And we'll get some enjoyment out of that for sure. What I like to do on this pass is to go up over that jawline, so you don't have to start on the jawline. Now, some people pull they stretch their skin to sort of prevent having to start on the jawline. Like, you could pull it up, something like that. You know, you could pull it down. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it, but you'll sort of develop your own technique and find your own way. Now the soap, beautiful aqua scent. I didn't talk much about it. Scent strength, I'd call it probably about 3.5 to 4. It's not super fragrant, but you can definitely get that nice aqua scent. It really is a nice scented soap, and the aftershave was a steal at $6.99. So, if you did business with an Italian barber, I suggest you make sure that you allow yourself to get that newsletter, because sometimes they have some terrific sales. All right, shave going well so far. Good budget shave. It just makes me happy to do these, and I know a lot of the viewers really appreciate them, because I think, here's the thing, when you do a lot of videos, and especially when you do them daily, I like to use many different things which appeals to many different people. And honestly, I don't want to put this in a way that is offensive to people, but I like really nice, expensive things like everybody else. But since they don't really mechanically, and certainly the software for me doesn't really provide, in most cases, any discernible advantage, I don't use them as often because I don't buy them. For me, it's oftentimes a waste of money. Certainly, premium software for me, if it's a great scent, like I've said, I'll buy it. If it's a scent I really love, so I'll definitely get it. But on the performance level, it's just not necessary for me. And so you won't see me using as many, $5 plus per ounce soaps, just because they're just unnecessary expense, unless they offer a fantastic scent. But again, as I was saying earlier in the video, I started out that way. I bought all the Acqua di Parma, the most expensive products of the day, X-Spec, Panacrema Nuevia, back when it was $70+. I bought all of them. So when you see me using these budget things here, it's not because I've never tried the other stuff and all the premium gear, because I did, believe me. And I sort of grew out of it. And I don't mean that to be offensive to people who prefer premium everything. I'm just saying, for me, it was part of the learning experience to come to understand that they didn't really do any more for me. And so it's basically a waste of money for me. It may not be for you. I always like to caveat that, my experience may not be like yours. And then you'll see even shavers like the Stallion, who came to the same conclusion, because he was very much a high-end guy early on. And then he sort of settled down and he realized, you don't really need it. You can have it if you want it, but as somebody who I know a lot of new people come to, I don't want to ever lead you to believe that you need a bunch of expensive stuff, because most likely you don't. And so this is why it's important for me to do these budget shaves. And it's doggone enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. So I want to take a moment to congratulate my buddy Jimmy from NYC Wet Shaving on 400 subs. He is a friend of mine, so congrats, Jimmy. It's great to see your channel growing. It's just outstanding. Jimmy is a great guy. He's very passionate about wet shaving, and he loves his peach. I was watching him yesterday, and he was talking about how many peach soaps he has, and it was pretty awesome. So Jimmy, congrats. And certainly congrats to everyone else who's having success with their channels or blogs or, I haven't mentioned as many new people recently because I haven't had quite as much time to get out there and discover them. And honestly, for a while it was getting annoying because there were people moaning that they weren't mentioned enough relative to others, and it was getting annoying. And so I just decided for a while I'm just going to mention who I watch and sort of leave it at that, and was going to make an effort to try to find a bunch of new channels, because some of the channels I mentioned, I mentioned them, and then, like I said, it's up to you to grow your channel. I can mention your channel and a few people might go over there, but you got to have something for them to stay, So anyway, it became annoying because we were hearing so much complaining. Well, he doesn't mention me enough, or he mentioned this one or that one. Like I mentioned the Stallion or So Sharp David, or, people I communicate with. The Dude of Shaving, fairly regularly. And then other people, he mentions these people all the time. I'm like, oh God. It just made me not want to mention anybody. Because I do not like whining. Even though I do some whining myself from time to time. I don't even like it when I do it. All right. That was an excellent, comfortable shave. Completely different feel from Shavette. Got to muscle this a little bit. It is completely different. Okay, let me rinse the face. We will come back and get into your post. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back. And off screen, we use the PAA alum block with dry dock. Very little stinging, so that was a nice smooth shave. And when I get the right bottle, I'm going to do the magic made by witches. Very nice. Let's get some on the dome here. Make sure we get it all over. That was an excellent budget shave. Nothing in this shave was very expensive at all, but we achieved an outstanding result. And really, that's what it's all about, getting a great, comfortable, enjoyable shave. We'll finish off with our Aqua Splash by RazoRock. Again, I paid $6.99 for this. Excellent price, great aqua scent. And we're gonna start off our day, our Tuesday, in awesome fashion, smelling great, having had a great shave, and having not spent a lot. So, folks, if you're new, I can't encourage you enough to try lots of different things. Don't get hung up on one thing. Don't get hung up on all expensive gear. Try a little bit of everything and see what works best for you. But most importantly, enjoy your shaves. Thanks so much for watching. I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way. And as always, God bless.